Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Dan the Fix-It Man. Got another quick video here for you. I'm going to show you how to fix a Shaky side mirror. This is on a 1997 Lexus LX450, which is the same as the Toyota Landcruiser. This will be similar for a few different models, but it's a fairly common problem, and it's not too hard to fix. Now the first thing you need to do is come down underneath here, and you can see there's a hole in the bottom of the mirror. And if you put in a Phillips screwdriver and take out this bottom screw, okay, we just take out that screw, then we'll be able to gently pull the mirror down. Okay, we can just pull these three wires out. There's a brown, red, and black. And then we can take this part of the mirror over to the workbench. You can see right there, this should look like this over here, this little keyway looking shape, and you can see part of that's broken off, and that's what we're going to try to recreate with some epoxy. I fixed the driver's side mirror 3 or 4 years ago, and it's been working fine, and then just now this passenger one has gone. But I bent a little piece of paper clip. Well, this is actually a brad nail, but you could use a little paper clip. Anything that just to kind of help support the epoxy that I'm going to use. You could use JB Weld or anything like that. But I'm going to drill some really small holes into this plastic section here and over here, and try to insert this piece to give it a little bit more strength and stability, rather than just the epoxy. This is a 1/16 inch drill bit. I'm going to see if I can get that started here. It doesn't need to be very deep, but just enough to house that, to hold that little clip in there. And of course I'll epoxy this clip into place. I'll try to line this one up here. Maybe I'll turn that around. I think that'll work better. And then I'm going to drill another small hole here on this side. Again, doesn't need to be very deep, just enough so I can fit this in here, which I'll probably bend that back a little bit. I think I'll go a little deeper on this hole here. Okay, I mean, you could probably make it work just by epoxying this in, but I'm going to go ahead and build it up to try to create this same shape that you see on this side here as well. So I'm going to get the epoxy mixed up here, and then we'll put it together. Okay, and I'm just using this one-time use epoxy. This is a 90-second epoxy. Before I put that little nail back in, I'm just going to see if I can get some of the epoxy into each one of those holes that I drilled. Just enough to help that nail stay held in place. And then we'll just put that back in. And I kind of had to use the pliers here to force it in place. There we go. Okay, so I've got this little piece set in here. I used a little bit of this 90-second epoxy, which I was also going to use for the rest of it, but didn't work out very well. It set up a little too fast, and it was also very runny. So I'm going to try this pool putty epoxy. which is it's another way to do this. I just wanted something a little bit more of a putty-like material, and it's all I've got. So I'm going to see if that will work. And I don't need a lot, so I'm just going to cut out equal parts of the both sides here, and that should be enough. And then this is the type of putty that you just kind of mix the two together, and we'll just kind of squish that around, roll it up a little bit to try to get those two different materials mixed. And that's probably mixed well enough. So I'm just gonna try to get this forced in and around here. Make sure that we squish it down on there. And I'm not worried about filling in that hole right now because I'll be able to cut that shape out when this is cured. And I'm just wanting to make sure that it's getting some good adhesion, so I'm trying to kind of push it all the way around. See, probably would not have been a bad idea to rough up that plastic surface a little bit. I probably could have done a better job of that. Probably make it last longer. That's kind of why I'm pulling it off and putting it back on, making sure that we get some good adhesion there. That's probably pretty good. We can maybe just let that set up, and then we'll come back and drill out the same shape over here. And of course we've got the inside to use as a guide. So I'll probably just get a drill bit that fits right in there and see if I can't do the same thing over here with another drill bit, and then connect the two just enough to make it work. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect, but that'll make it fit on those little hangers on the inside of the car, and that should work. You should be able to use just about any type of epoxy putty, even JB Weld. You know, I mean, you could put something underneath here and form that in place too. But this looks like it's going to hold up pretty well, and as long as that sets up strong, I think we'll be good to go. Okay, this epoxy's had some time to set up now, and so I'm gonna drill 2 holes. The first one down here at the bottom, I'm using the inside black plastic as a guide. This is a 3/16 inch drill bit. Okay. Now I'm going to drill another hole just above that to try to mimic this same shape here, and that's a drill bit. It's a 9/64. Now I just need to try to match up that shape, and I think on the inside here it'll be fairly easy, but I'm just gonna use a little razor knife here and try to match that shape as best I can. Again, this doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but we just want it to perform the same as it did. It's almost, you can see, it's almost like this little hourglass shape, and again, I'm just going to try to recreate that same shape over here. And I don't know that it necessarily needs to be, you know, have the edges squared out like the other shape here, but we'll go ahead and see what we can do, see how closely I can make that match up. Now here's where maybe a little Dremel tool or something like that would probably work well. So it looks like the drill bit to fit through the center here is 7/64. So again, just gonna run that through there, clean that up a little bit. And there you can see we're getting closer to the to that shape that we're trying to match. And again, I'm just going to use another drill bit here. I'd say we're pretty close. It's if you can see that shape right there and that shape right there. I know it's not perfect, but I think we're pretty close to that overall shape. So it should function pretty much the same as it should from stock. So what I'll do is I think I'm going to let this set up overnight before I put it back in the vehicle, and I might clean this up just a little bit more just to make sure that it's thin enough as well to fit that same profile. Okay, so I've let this cure overnight, and you can see here it's not real pretty. I cleaned it up a little bit, but I've got the same general shape as this side here, and maybe a little off, but looks like it's going to work out just fine. I'm gonna take this over to the car and see if I can't put it in. Okay, so you can see we've got the wiring here, and we'll put that back in the same order. That was the brown, then this little red one here. Let's make sure that brown one stays in, and then finally black. And those just slide into those little notches there. Okay, so I've got those wires pushed in, again in the same order, the brown, red, and black. And on those, you just want to make sure that you push them all the way in. There's just that little, it's pretty easy once you see it, but there's those 3 little holes that they go in. And then when you put the new mirror in, you just want to push the top part in first, and you're trying to get these things that you made to sit on top of these little hooks here. See, there's one on either side. And just be careful, you don't want to force it, but we'll try to just kind of, there we go. So that's in. Now I need to get that screw. Okay, and then we can just put that last screw in here. Just try to carefully line that up. Just tighten that screw. Just make it snug. And if you look over here, no more shaky mirror. And you're done. Thanks so much for watching, and good luck.